Let's take a look at our unit circle. Now remember, our unit circle, everything has a length of 1. The radius is 1 on everything, okay? Just remember that. Now let's imagine this is the origin. We want to talk about the point location here, 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 and here to start us. Well, we know that if this is the origin and it's 1 unit over, we've gone 1 to the right, this is the ordered pair 1, 0. Up here at 90 degrees, if we go up to 90 at this point, we've gone over none and up to a height of 1, since the radius of everybody is 1. Here at 180 degrees, we've gone over where? -1 up none. And then right here, we've gone over none and then down -1. So 0, -1. What would 90 have? Oh, it has the order pair 0, 1. It's its point location. So we should know that. That's not hard. Now, what about this, though? And this is where we have to use a little bit of our thinking and a little bit of our knowledge. I want to talk about a 30-degree opening. Okay, I want to talk about a 30-degree opening. I want to say, where is that guy located if you're opened up 30 degrees? On the unit circle, where is that guy located? Well, how am I to do that? I mean, I know this guy's over 1 up none. So if you think about it, though, we could see that this has come over not quite 1. So it's something maybe like 0.9. You've come over maybe 0.9. And how much up have you gone? Because remember, the ordered pair is simply saying from the origin how much you've gone over and up. So I'm guessing it's maybe like 0.9, comma, and then how high? Hadn't gone up half. So maybe, 0.35. Who knows? Well, we do know, and we can figure it out. And here's what we're going to think. If we're open 30 degrees, this is that triangle, a right triangle at 30 degrees. Well, do we know any lengths of this? Well, if you look back at this, do we know any of these lengths? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. But do I know what that length right there is? Yeah, I know that hypotenuse length. That hypotenuse length is a 1, which means I can now figure out the other pieces. Now, if you remember when you were in geometry, we learned about a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And we could calculate this in several ways. I mean, if I wanted to find this out, okay, we could say, oh, well, we could use SOHCAHTOA. We could say, over there is the opposite. We could use the sine of 30 degrees over 1 equals x over 1, right? We could do that. And then try to solve it. So x is basically the sine of 30, but that's sort of what we're learning and getting to here. Well, what we learn or did learn in geometry is we learned that in a 30, 60, 90, everything was based off of the short side, which is this guy right here. And the hypotenuse was twice as big. Well, what number would x have to be if you doubled it and you got 1? Yeah, that's right. It has to be a half. That height is a half guaranteed. This longer piece was always the shorter piece times the square root of 3, which means you have square root of 3 over 1 times a half, which ends up giving you root 3 over 2. So we know that this point location on the unit circle, we've gone over root 3 over 2 up a half. So it's over root 3 over 2 up a half. That's what it is when it's 30 degrees. So if you and I have our unit circle, let's put it up here. When I'm at 30 degrees, this is root 3 over 2, 1/2. That's the ordered pair for 30 degrees. And that's something we're going to have to memorize. And it's not hard to do because here's what's nice. We have a lot of things on the unit circle, excuse me, but they're all pretty much going to be the same because look, if that's 30 degrees, if I make a triangle this direction, which remember that's 150, what's the angle right here? 30 degrees. This is 1. So we've gone over the same amount. We've gone over root 3 over 2 and up the same height of a half. So it's the same. However, you've gone over to the left, which makes that what? Negative. Anybody in the second quadrant, the x value is going to be negative. The height you've gone up, which is positive. The same thing is going to be true if I make a 30-degree angle right here, right? Which technically, here's 180. So this is 210. What's the ordered pair at 210? Well, you've gone over root 3 over 2. Now, since you went left, it's negative. And then you went down this time, so it's negative a half. Right? And then wait, we got it here too, which is 30 away from the 360. So at 330, you got a 30-degree angle. You've gone over root 3 over 2, down a half. So this guy is, you went over root 3 over 2 and down a half. Down's negative because you're in the fourth quadrant. Fourth quadrant, the x value will be positive. The y will be negative. Makes sense. You've moved to the right, positive, down, negative. And obviously here in the third quadrant, back here with the 210, everybody was negative. So notice all those that are 30 degrees away from the x-axis have that value, root 3 over 2 a half. Now, I know when I was in school, it always was like, oh, wait, what is it? I can't remember. Well, it always made sense. You went over almost a whole unit. So what's bigger, root 3 over 2 or a half? If you do root 3 over 2, root 3 divided by 2 on your calculator, you're going to get, I don't know what happens to the board, messing up always. Root 3 over 2, and then a half, we know, and a half is 0.5. So we know it comes second. Okay, so that makes life a little bit easier. We know, okay, common sense, we've moved over more than we moved up. So that first ordered pair is root 3 over 2 a half. The reason I say that is because if we look this way, notice if you're at 60 degrees, you could do 60 here, but wait, we don't have to. Because would it not be true that if this is 60, this in here is 30, and we got the exact same thing? Here's 1. Now, the short side is here this time, which is a half, and this is root 3 over 2. So the things have reversed. You've gone over, this time, how much have you gone over? You've gone over a half and up root 3 over 2. So it's the exact opposite of where you were down here. These numbers simply flipped. And it's going to be true when you're 30 away here. This will be over a half because you will have moved over a half and up root 3 over 2. Of course, you moved over negative, so it's a negative 1/2 root 3 over 2. And it'll be the same with the pieces down here. Just you got to pay attention to third quadrant right here. They'll both be negative. Here you will have gone right, positive, down, negative. So all the numbers are the same. So that gives us almost every point location. Who have we not talked about yet, though? Haven't talked about our buddy, Mr. 45. Mr. 45 degrees, if we break it down, if that's 45, this is 45, it's an isosceles triangle, meaning our legs are the exact same. So you've gone over and up the exact same amount. And we know this is 1. And we learned that back in geometry that you multiplied, the hypotenuse was root 2 times bigger. Okay. So what happens when we do this, we have to divide by root 2. So it's 1 divided by root 2, which when we rationalize the denominator, something I know you've forgotten about, don't worry about it. This guy becomes root 2 over 2. So this point, you've come over root 2 over 2 and up root 2 over 2. Nice things, they're the same. And it'll be the same thing for the 45 here, other than you've gone left. So it'll be negative root 2 over 2, up root 2 over 2. And the same here and the same here, the same values. So for our unit circle, here's how we look at the ordered pairs. I want to start with my 30 degrees. So when I'm 30 degrees, I know I've come over more than I've gone up. Root 3 over 2, 1/2. That means my 60 piece is the exact opposite of that, over a half up root 3 over 2. And then as we just did, our 45 piece, it's the exact same measurements, root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. What this means, now for all these other pieces, they're going to be the exact same. It's just negatives, okay? You've gone left, so your x value will be negative, but all the heights will be the same. But what this means is you're only using 3 numbers here, root 3 over 2, a half, root 2 over 2. There's the only things that you have. There's no other numbers here. So that should make it easier. Now, tune into the real live lesson when I'm teaching this so that we can go over it again and again to make sense of it and a little bit more direction on it. But this gives you an idea of where all these values, these point values, come from.